Good afternoon, everyone. It's me, Ashok, sir, and I belong to Monastic School. I belong to the English department of Monastic School, and welcome you all in these Monastic online classes. And we all are here in the mood of going to give you ideas about the chapters that we have not been able to give you during your regular classes. And because of this deadly, grateful coronavirus disease, we all have planned and we all have how to go through the online classes. So welcome you all here in our welcome class, here in our online classes of Monastic School. Today, I'm going to talk to you people regarding the grammar. In grammar, I'm going to talk to you people about narration chapter. So get ready to get the ideas about narration. So let's start. Narration. This chapter is often understood as one of the toughest chapters in our secondary level. Though it has been taught to the students from the lower secondary level, but mainly in the secondary level as well, we have found that the students often get confused in this chapter narration. So, talking about narration, first I want to tell you that this is so much tough. It's not as much tough as you have thought. It's the simplest one, and the best part, I want to tell you that you all are doing narration in yourselves, in your own home, in your own local languages. So this chapter is not so much tough, it is very simple. If you go through the examples, then you can find that in your own home you are doing practices of this narration. For example, if you have been saved by someone in the absence of your parents, if they have arrived to your home and they are simply telling you that when the parents will come, just convey a message to him. And at the moment when your parents will come, at the moment you convey the message to your parents. And whatever you are stating there, whatever you are speaking to your parents, these all are the way you are doing narration to your own, in your own local languages, in your own home. So it's one of the very simple example for you. And talking about this chapter, I'm going to first make you introduce about this chapter, how you can recognize this chapter well by your own selves. Narration, somewhere, it is also understood as speech. Somewhere it is understood as direct and indirect speech. Whereas somewhere you can find it is being understood as reported speech. Then somewhere we can also find it is as direct and indirect narration. Whatever is written there, whatever is mentioned there, for the topic remains same, and we can understand that is the only one, and it's narration. So narration in pure grammar, we can have the topics like it is speech, it is that indirect speech, it is reported speech, it is that indirect narration. Somewhere you can also find that it is understood as reported clause. So this is also the other name of this topic. Simply to say that these all are the synonyms of this topic, narration. So if you find the topics like speech, like indirect speech, reported speech, like indirect narration, reported clause, then these all are telling us the idea about the single topic, and that is narration. So let me give you an idea what is this narration. At first, I have given you example about the home environment where your parents are absent. Your parents' friends have come there and they have told you about their regards to convey to your parents. And when your parents arrive to your home, at the moment you convey the regards, whatever have been spoken to you by your parents' friend to your parents. And the way you speak, the way you tell it to your parents, that is what is being understood as narration. So very simple, you can understand about this narration that it is the speech. It is the speech of the speaker. So the speech of the speaker is known as Narration. For an example, there is Ram. Ram said, I have a book. You can find that when you say Ram said, I have a book, then you can get the ideas at the moment that simply there is a speaker and the speaker has narrated the speech of someone. The narrator has just narrated the speech of Ram, whatever Ram has spoken there to somebody else. Simply you can understand like this. Ram, the person's name, has told something to the speaker, and the speaker is just reporting the same statement to others. And while the speaker is reporting it to others, while the speaker is narrating it to others, at the moment the speaker simply narrates like this. Ram said, I have a book. And the speaker is also allowed to narrate it to others in another way also. That is, Ram said that he had a book. So what we understand here, that there is a speaker's speech, the speaker's speech is spoken, is narrated to others in two ways. One by using comma, inverted comma, another by without using comma, inverted comma. While we are using comma, inverted comma at the moment, we are narrating it as it is, as the speaker has spoken. There is no changes. And while we are not using the comma, inverted comma at the moment, we narrate, we say the speech of the speaker to others without changing the senses. We don't use the comma, inverted comma. It's a way we can just narrate the speaker's speech to someone else, first by directly, whatever it is written, that is in the direct way, another in the indirect way. In this way, what we can find that narration is of two kinds. They are the direct narration and the indirect narration. We are going to talk about the kinds of narration. We can find that kinds of narration, and there are two kinds of narration. They are direct narration second one indirect narration. Now let's start talking about what is this direct narration. When the speech of the speaker is expressed directly, that is, by using comma and inverted comma, it is called direct narration. So, talking about this direct narration, when we find that the speaker's voice is expressed to others by using comma and inverted comma, that is, whatever the speaker has spoken, that is expressed to others directly, that's known as direct narration. For example, he said to me, I have a book. So what you find that there is a speaker. The speaker is he, and whatever the speaker has spoken, that has been quoted under the inverted comma, and it has been expressed to others directly, without doing even a single sentence there. And it is understood as a direct narration. I want to give you another example. Like sometimes you can also find like this. I am going to Kathmandu tomorrow. Said he. What we find that whatever the speaker has spoken, that has been mentioned here directly. There is no change. Nothing has been changed here. Simply, what the person has done, he has simply reported about the speech of the speaker to others, without doing a single changes. And these all are known as the direct narration. What we find that this direct narration, the direct narration is also known as the direct speech, and in short, it is known as DS. Please be concentrated on this point, DS, because after this, I will often speak about this DS. I want to speak about direct narration, I want to speak about direct speech, I will often speak about DS, and this DS will resemble about the direct narration. So this direct narration is also understood as this direct speech, and the direct speech in short is known as DS. So this is what we can understand about the direct speech. And in summary, you can understand that if the speaker's speech is expressed directly, without doing change, by using comma and inverted comma, that's known as a direct speech. It's over. Let us talk about the second kind of this direct speech, and that is indirect narration. What's this indirect narration? When the speech of the speaker is expressed indirectly, you can say, without using comma and inverted comma, it is known as an indirect. It is known as an indirect narration. For example, he told me that he had a book. So this is one example of this indirect narration. Or we find that here we have done the narration of the speaker's speech, but we haven't used the comma and inverted comma. We have done the narration of the speaker's speech. We have changed it according to our sense, but we have not changed the proper sense of the speaker's speech. So in indirect narration, the speaker's speech is narrated, is expressed, but without changing its accurate sense. The structure is changed. We change the structure. We give the proper meaning. We don't use the comma and inverted comma. but the real concept of the speaker speech should be expressed to others, and that would be the indirect narration. I want to give you another example. For example, they told me that they were going to Kathmandu the next day. So we have done here that we have simply expressed the ideas of the speaker, but we haven't brought here comma inverted comma. Simply we have narrated it in indirect form. And these are the examples of this indirect narration. And what you need to understand here that the indirect narration is also known as the indirect speech, and in short, it is known as ideas. So, at that part, I was talking to you people about typical concentration over the DS, which resembles about the direct speech. Now I'm talking to you about this ideas, which is talking about this indirect speech. So for the direct narration, we use now DS, and for the indirect narration, we use here the ideas. So get the short forms, and knowledge. Up to here, you have understood about narration, about the kinds of narration, and then after, we are going to talk about real intention behind studying narration. Up to it, you have got the ideas about narration, you have got the ideas about kinds of narration, and as I have spoken to you before, now we're going to talk about why should we study narration. What's the real intention behind studying narration? It can be also, if you don't have to study narration, it can be also there is no need of studying narration here in the secondary level as well. So why should we study narration? In fact, while I was about to start this chapter, at the moment I told you that in our local languages, whatever languages you just use, you may be using Mathali language, you may be using Nepali language, you may be using Hindi language, but in your own language, you all are doing narration. You all are simply narrating the speech, the talk of someone from one place to another place. If the same thing has to be done, then how you can do it in English language? It is therefore we have to study about narration. And talking about this narration, what you can understand that, suppose we are having a travel log, we want to narrate an event to others. At the moment, there is a requirement of using narration. Not only that, even if anything happens to you on the way to your school or in your school or maybe at somewhere and you want to tell it to your parents, at the moment you need to use the narration. And by using this narration, we can make our language better, we can make our language comprehensive. And thinking this up, the Curriculum Development Center, Sound Multiple, has prescribed this chapter in the course of this English language for the students to study this so that they can have their English language better. So that they can communicate in English language by reading, by writing, by listening, by speaking to others as well. These are the intentions for which this chapter has been prescribed for you people. So, what we understand that the reason behind studying narration is to become able to change the DS. DS stands for direct speech, that we have studied about like that narration. So is to become able to change the DS into the IDS and vice versa. So what I was talking to you people about the reasons, intention behind using or studying narration, that is simply we should be able to change. We should be able to narrate the events, narrate the talk, speech of somewhere to another. And for this, we have to get the ideas how we can recognize the speech of someone and how we can narrate it to others. And for this, we should know the ideas how we can become able to change the direct speech into the indirect one. So the basic reason, the basic intention behind studying this narration is to become able to change the DS into the ideas. We have been given the DS, we have been given the ideas as well. Once we recognize that it's a DS, then after we have to change it to the ideas. Once we recognize that it's an ideas, then we have to change it into the DS. And the measure, and for this, we need to study about this narration. So that's why I have written here. The reason behind studying narration is to become able to change the DS into the ideas and vice versa. And for this, there are two major rules to change the DS into the ideas, and they are, if we understand about the rules mainly to change the DS into the ideas, then of course we can become able to change the ideas into the DS. So very first we are going to talk about how we can change the direct speech into the indirect speech. And so there are two major rules to change the DS into the ideas, and they are general rules. Second one, special rules. So these are the two major rules that we apply in order to change the DS into the ideas. And general rules are mainly we use this to change each and any kind of sentence mentioned in the reported class of DS to get them changed into the ideas. And special rules, they are used to change the special kinds of sentences mentioned in the reported class of DS into the ideas. So I started talking more about these. So very first you have to understand that there are two rules to change the DS into the ideas, and they are general rules and special rules. So we are going to talk about very first general rules. General rules is better to say these are the compulsory rules that we apply for each kind of sentences mentioned in the reported class of DS to get them changed into the ideas. General rules are expressed through four forms: and they are very first change of person, change of tense, change of adverbials, change of punctuation marks. So class, you can get the ideas about general rules. What are the general rules here? These are the compulsory rules, and we like these are change of person, change of tense, change of adverbial, change of punctuation marks. These all are the compulsory rules, and we apply these all over each and every kind of sentences mentioned in the reported clause of DS to get them changed into the ideas. For example, I want to give you an example here, like I can use up here. So, for example, there is a speaker. The speaker's name is Ram. Ram said, "I like milk." Even the speaker Ram said, "What is your name?" The speaker Ram is also allowed to give order like open the door. The speaker is also allowed to show the certain strong feelings of human mind. For example, alas, he is dead. What you can understand that a speaker is allowed to speak any kinds of sentences. Even it is an assertive sentence, even it is an interrogative sentence, an imperative sentence, or an exclamative sentence, even an optative sentence also. When we find that the speaker is speaking assertive, interrogative, imperative, exclamatory, optative, at the moment how we can change them into the ideas. And for that, these general rules, the four forms, change of person, change of tense, change of adverb, change of punctuation marks, they are used as the compulsory rules to get them changed into the ideas. But the special rules, they will be functioning like if there is an assertive sentence, then how we can change it into the ideas according to the rules of an assertive sentence. If there is an interrogative sentence, then how we can change them into the ideas that will be taught to you people into the form of special rules. According, if there is an imperative, if there is an exclamatory, then how we can apply there the proper or exact kinds of rules to get them changed into the ideas. Which I will be talking about these all in the special rules. But now in the compulsory rules, you need to understand that though there are different kinds of sentences mentioned there in the reported clause DS, but we can change them into the ideas by using the general rules into the form of change of person, change of tense, change of adverbials, and change of punctuation marks. So now we are going to talk about change of person. So very first about this change of person. Before going to make you understand about this rule change of person, I want to simply make you understand about the case start. If you have got the ideas over the case start, then you can understand the change of person well. If you don't have got the ideas about the case start, you won't understand about this change of person well. So I don't know how many of you have got the ideas over this case start. So if you don't have got the ideas over case start, then I'm going to draw here on the table. And I think that it will be better. First, I'll draw the table of case start for you people. So if you understand about this case start first, then it will be better for you to understand about the first rule change of person. So in case start, you can go like this. This one goes to case, this one goes to person. Where you get the very first about subjective case. Second, you will get here about the possessive. Then after, you will get here about the objective case, and you will get ideas about the reflexive pronouns. In possessive case, we will find here two. There are the P1, possessive one, and P2. Is the case start? From here you understand about the person. So if we are talking about the first person, in the first person you can get here the singular form is I. Its plural form is we. This I is singular. It is plural. Second person, now we are using only one, that is you. It is both singular plus plural, and the last person is the third person. In third person, you can get here he. It is singular in form, but it's used for male gender. There is she. It is singular in form, but it's used for female gender. There is it. It is singular in form, but it's used for neutral gender. And the last one is here, third person plural, that is they. So class, though all the case start, it is not needed for you, but I have mentioned here so that you can also have a good understanding of the case start, and that can be useful for you regarding the whole chapters in grammar. And mainly here in narration, we will be talking about the first person, second person, third person. But as I have just drawn this case start, then you will also get the ideas about the possessive cases, about the objective case, about the reflexive pronouns as well. So first, for this I, P1 is my, P2 is my, objective case is me, reflexive pronoun is myself. For we, P1 is our, P2 is ours, objective case is us, reflexive pronoun is ourselves. And for this you, P1 is your, P2 is yours, its objective case is you, reflexive pronoun. If it is you are using for singular, you can use it yourself. If you are using it for the plural, you can use it yourselves. Then after for he, its P1 is his, P2 is also his, its objective case is him, reflexive pronoun is him. Self. For C, its P1 is her, P2 is hers, its objective case becomes her, reflexive pronoun is herself. And for it, its P1 is its, P2 is its, objective case is it, reflexive pronoun itself. Their, P1 is their, P2 is theirs, its objective case them, and reflexive pronoun becomes themselves. So it's the case start. This case start will give you better understanding over the persons, pronouns in the different forms. If the pronouns are used in the subjective case, they are used like this. If they are used in the objective case, they are used like this. If you get them in the reflexive pronoun form, you will get them like this. So these all are used in the speech of the speakers. For example, sometimes you can find that he said to me, I have done my homework myself. So I is first person, my, P1, myself. These all are used there in the speech of the speaker. At the moment, you need to understand how you can change them into the ideas. So regarding the very first part, change a person, to get them changed into the ideas, you need to understand about this case start. If you have any confusion, you can also write your confusion in the comment, where we will try our best to mention these all in our next class. But I'm trying my best to make you understand from my own, and it will be better for you also. So this subjective case, it is used as subjects in the sentences P1 and P2. If you have a confusion in P1 and P2, then you can understand that this P1, these all are determiners. But we say these all are possessive adjectives. These all are used before nouns. I have told you that these are the determiners. Determiners are the words which are used before nouns to determine the nouns in some way. For example, if you say here book, you can say that my book, but you won't use there my book. My book, it is wrong. My book is right, because this P1, these all are the determiners. They all are used before nouns to determine the noun in some way. But P2 are not the determiners. While we are using the P2, we don't use the objects. We don't use the noun after that. So that's the difference between P1 and P2. You all know about objective case. Objective case is always used before. These all are used as objects in a sentence. Sometimes you get confused about reflexive pronouns, because this reflexive pronoun, sometimes they are also used as the emphatic pronouns as well, sometimes as the reflexive pronouns. I'm going to give you a little idea how you can understand that. Someone is there who has said that I have done my homework myself. How we can also like that? I myself have done my homework. I myself have done my homework. You can find that the self form is used here also, the self form is used here also. But there is difference between them. What you can find that when this self form is used after the verb, they are used to reflect. They are used to reflect the work of the subject to the subject. Where this self form is used before the subject, at the moment it gives more emphasis to the subject. So here this self form becomes reflexive pronoun. Here this becomes passive pronoun. Same form is used in the sentence, but in different way. So be clear over these all. So class, this is case start. This is case start. I have mentioned this case start before, giving you ideas about change of person so that you can understand about the person. Where you can find that first person, I, we, even these all are the first person pronouns. These all are the second person pronouns. These all are the third person pronouns. And you must have your ideas over these all, so that while we are going to study about change of person at the moment, there will be no more confusion in your mind, and you will become able to change the DS into the ideas regarding the first rule, change of person. So I hope you have understood about this. So class, very first we are going to talk about the very first rule of general rule, and that is change of person. In this part, change of person, you have to come by having the ideas over the case start. If you have good ideas over the case start, only then you can understand this change of person. And to make you understand about the change of person, we have a very familiar rule with us, and that is yes, oh, and 1, 2, 3. Where we can understand where this yes stands for subject, O stands for object, N stands for no change. And this 1 stands for first person, 2 stands for second person, 3 stands for third person. It means here this SON, it is talking about the reporting clause 1 to 3. It is talking about the reported clause, where this 1 means when you find that there is a first person pronoun mentioned in the reported clause of DS, we need to change it according to the subject of the reporting clause in IDS. If there is second person pronoun mentioned in the reporting clause of DS, we have to change it according to the object of the reporting clause in IDS. If there is third person pronoun mentioned in the reporting clause of DS, we should not change it into the IDS. So, understanding about this rule, change the person, we need to go through this formula. Where the first person pronoun of the reported clause should be changed according to the subject, second person pronoun of the reported clause should be changed according to the object of the reporting clause, and third person pronoun of the reported clause should not be changed in the IDS. We can understand it like this way. If there is the first person pronoun mentioned in the reported clause of DS, it should be changed according to the subject of the reporting clause in IDS. So if there is a first person pronoun mentioned in the reporting clause of DS, it should be changed according to the subject of the reporting clause in IDS. For example, this is DS. He said to me, I have done my homework myself. So I have talked about this reporting clause and reporting clause. So class, you need to understand about what is reporting clause, what is reporting clause. It's a direct speech. In the direct speech, you can find that there are 2 clauses. This is one clause. This is another clause. In this clause, we can find that there is someone, there is a speaker. The speaker is saying something to others. It means the speaker is reporting something to others. As the speaker is reporting something to others, then this clause is known as a reporting clause. And whatever the speaker has spoken, whatever the speaker has reported to others, then it is mentioned here inside the reporting clause. So this is inside the reporting clause. So this is known as a reported clause. Let's try to understand it once again. A direct speech has 2 clauses. He said to me, it's one clause. I have done my homework. Myself is another clause. And this clause is separated by comma. It is not inside inverted comma. And this clause, we can find that there is a speaker, he, and he is stating, he is saying something to me. So as here you can find that the subject is saying something to me, then this is to be understood as somebody is reporting something. So this is known as reporting clause. And whatever he has spoken,
that is mentioned in the reported clause here, so it is a reported clause. So we can find that in this clause there is a subject. Subject is stating something to others. So this is a reporting clause. Whatever he has reported, whatever he has told, that has been quoted under the inverted comma, and it is a reported clause. So class, you have to understand that if we find the person, that is here I, this is also a person in possessive case, in relative pronoun. So when we find that there is the first person pronoun mentioned in the reported clause of DS, then we need to change it according to the subject in IDS. So I is the first person pronoun, my is the first person pronoun, myself is the first person pronoun. So these are all first person pronouns should be changed into the IDS according to the subject. And here we can change it into the IDS as he, said to, it changed to told. How it has been, I will told it in my next part. He told me that I should be changing into he have, it changed into had done. How this had done has been done, I will tell you in my next class, because these all are related to the change of tense part. Simply we are going to talk about now how we can change the person. So this I is first person, it should be changed according to the subject. Subject is he, I is a subjective case, so his subjective case is he. Then after, this my is reflexive, this my is possessive pronoun P1, and it should be changed according to the subject. His P1 is his homework. Again, myself is the reflexive pronoun of I. Is first person, so it should be changed according to the subject he, and he self form is himself. So what we have understood here, in this direct speech, in the reported clause, there we can find the first person pronoun I, my, and myself mentioned, and while we are changing them into the indirect speech, at the moment we need to change according to the subject. And while we are changing it according to the subject, then I is the subjective case, so his subjective case is he, my is possessive one, so his possessive one is his, myself reflexive pronoun, so his reflexive pronoun is himself. So we have changed this he, we have changed this his, we have changed this himself. Is the way we can change the first person pronoun mentioned in the reported clause DS into the IDS. Now let's talk about the second rule. Second rule tells that if there is the second person pronoun mentioned in the reported clause, of DS, it should be changed according to the object, of the reporting clause, in IDS. For example, again like here, DS, he said to me, you have done your homework yourself. So this is direct speech. In the direct speech, you can find that this is reporting clause. In the reporting clause, you can find that there is the mention of the subject you, that is second person pronoun. You is also the second person pronoun. Yourself is also the second person pronoun. And according to this rule, what we have to do, if there is a second person pronoun, then we should change it according to the object of the reporting clause in IDS. So this you should be changed according to the object. Yours should be changed according to the object. Yourself should be changed according to the object. and its ideas becomes he told me that you according to the subject me. So me is here in the objective case, but it is in subjective case. So me subjective case is I had done with P1. So me P1 is my homework. Yourself. So this me, its possessive case becomes myself. So we have changed here the sub. We have changed here the person you according to me as I. We have changed here this your according to me my. We have changed yourself according to me myself. So it's the way we can change the second person mentioned in the reported class of DS into the IDS. And now let's go to the third rule. Third rule is talking about if there is the third person pronoun mentioned in the if there is a third person pronoun mentioned in the reported class of DS, we should not change it into, we should not change it in the IDS. For example, he said to me she has done her homework herself. And now it has become our duty to change it to the IDS. So while you are changing it to the IDS, wait first we have to have a look over the reported class. In the reported clause, you can find that there is the subject, that is she, is the third person pronoun, her third person, herself third person. So this she is third person, her is third person, herself the third person. And what we have stated that third person pronoun mentioned in the reported clause of DS should not be changed in the IDS. So as these all are the third person pronouns, so this would not be changed into the IDS. And simply we can get its IDS as he told me that she had done her homework herself. Why we have not done any changes here in these all pronouns? Because they all are the third person pronouns. So class, the very first rule of this narration from the general rules, that is change of person. If you understand about this, then you understand all. So, very first rule is change of person, and in change of person we can get this rule. S O N, where S stands for subject, O stands for object, N stands for no change, 1 stands for first person, 2 stands for second person, 3 stands for third person. And to understand about these all, I have mentioned these all rules here so that you can understand it clearly. And it is telling you that if there is a first person pronoun mentioned in the reported clause of DS, then we should change it according to the subject of the reporting clause into the IDS. If there is a second person pronoun mentioned in the reporting clause of DS, then we should change it according to the object of the reporting clause in IDS. And if there is a third person pronoun mentioned in the reporting clause of DS, then we should not change it into the IDS. And this is all for this change of person, and it's for today. I want to give you few homeworks. You can go through your grammar. In grammar, you can find there are certain questions regarding the narration, and please mention these all questions in a comment so that we can get these all questions, and we will try our best to give you ideas according to your questions in our next part. So for today, I'm going to stop my class only up to this change of person. In my next class, I shall talk to you people about change of tense, about change of adverbials, change of punctuation marks, and other rules of changing this narration.
so that it can be helpful for you by staying in your home. So at last, I want to tell you, stay safe, stay in your home, and thank you very much. And please go through our Monastic online classes. Thank you.